Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I am. It is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my time, over here in the land of the US of A. Whatever time it is in your neck of the woods, I'm glad you're with me as we come to you today from Austria, the Red Bull Ring. This is ERL F1 Wolff-gang tier. We are set off in a one-shot qualifier today. I believe we have a sprint and then the main race. So, going to be a lot of fun today. Glad you could join me if you do join me. If not, oh well, you missed out and catch it later on. I'll be here still then. I won't be going anywhere anytime soon. I am Smack Attack Mac, and I'm glad you're here. Whoa, they're on track fast. Hard to watch them like this, guys, but because they're going to be switching all around. It's just showing who's fastest right now on track. I'll just give you the words. DMC's in first place right now. L. Stewart in second. Man's Not Bob in third. Everybody's switching around. L. Stewart up to first. DMC's back in first again. Man's Not Bob. Neil. J.R. Elliott up to second. Neil in second now. J.R. Elliott back to fourth. Third. Neil up to second again. L. Stewart. Chunky in the middle. Jake and Chunky switching off. Shade not moving up. Moving up above Jake a little bit. Bree staying where he at. Lange 200 staying where they're at. LLCC staying where they're moving a little bit. 12 and 13th. Coast to Star staying where they are. Metal Mike falling back to the end. AFK Mufasa. What's up? How you doing? Today, L. Stewart is getting it done in first right now. J.R. Elliott moves into first as they're coming towards that finish line, about to set their one-shot qualifying. Oh, no good. I don't know what you did to get a race ban, but I didn't vote for that. Not me. Sorry about it. J.R. Elliott is in first, followed by L. Stewart, then Neil, then DMC, Man's Not Bob, Ralphie, Jake, Chunky, Shade, Gavin, LLCC, Brian, Lange 200, AFK Mufasa, and I can't say who's behind that because it won't show me. Maybe it will. Hold on, here we go. AFK Mufasa. You should blame me. No. Coaster Star in 15th and Metal Mike in 16th. I am not to be at fault. I've done nothing wrong. I'm here bringing you all the action live. All the action I can. This is ERL F1 Wolff-gang tier. Wolff-gang tier. You get it. You know what I meant. As the drivers get set up and get their setups put in, I'll bring you our sponsors. We have none. So, no, they sponsored me to be the commentators for y'all, so I appreciate that. Because I don't play this game, but I do the commentary for you guys, and I enjoy it very much. They switched the name when the season changed. I don't remember what it used to be. I did the other tier last season commentary. So I did not do this tier's commentary last season. Can't remember what it was called, but it was definitely called something else. Max's Minions? Something like that, maybe? I think it was Max's Minions. Yeah, and I can't remember what the other one was, but it was something else too. They are getting their setups put in, and then when they are done doing that, we will be on the grid ready to rock and roll. Getting it done on this Monday. Monday F1 here at ERL. I am Smack Attack Mac. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. Austria, Red Bull Ring, very fast track. Track limits are going to be a big problem today. Watch out for that. Penalties will stack up on you quick, and your second place finish could end up being a 7th place finish due to penalties. Some people agree, but I didn't set it, so not my choice to make it on a Monday. I'm just here for it. But yeah, also, it's the curbs here are very slick and they will bite you. So watch out for the curbs. Be careful around those, and yeah, hopefully get a clean race and a good race. And everybody gets to enjoy themselves. We don't have a lot of DNFs or people taken out. We'll see how it goes. How many safety cars are we voting for this time? What do you think? I think maybe 2. I think 2 safety cars today. I think 2. We hope for none, but I think 2. Possibly. Here we go. Here we go. Lights are red. All lights are red. And the green flag drops. We're gone, folks. Here we go. Rock and roll. Broadcast. Oh, we got one car off in the background. Having a struggle already. I do not. I've had a couple people offer to do so, but they're usually busy as well. J.R. Elliott is in the lead on the first lap so far, doing good to hold it down. L. Stewart right behind him and Neil in third. Let's see what tires everybody started on. Everybody started on medium except for Costa Star, who's on hards. Back to the pack here. We got good racing. Couple tight packs, good groups. Oh, we got a little bit of contact back here. Not sure who it was. May have been Metal Mike colliding with somebody. Metal Mike and LLCC. Jake battling right now, going into the curves. AFK Mufasa is who we're on board with. Passing up LLCC on the inside. Trying to get Costa Star. Almost outbroke himself into that last corner there. We got Jake into the pits. Must have got some damage on the first lap here. Who else we got in the pits? Anybody? DMC into the pits as well. Must have picked up some damages also. Not sure. Oh, a little bit wide there into the turn 1. J.R. Elliott still holding on to first place with a 1:13.6 right now. L. Stewart in second, 1:14.1. We are on board with Neil. Everybody's got decent connection today, it looks like. Whoa, as Chunky gets a little bit loose. And a little bit of lag from Chunk, but everything seems to be okay. Chunky and Ralphie, a little bit of connection issue. Costa Star a good ways back off of Chunky, and Metal Mike getting passed up by LLCC on the inside fast. LLCC with late braking. Mufasa with the overtake. Caution in sector 2 back here. That looks like Gavin had a little bit of a slam. Not sure if he's missing any parts of his car or anything, but it also looks like Metal Mike's going into the pits here. Not sure what for entirely, but he must have taken some damage from an incident that he had. Looking like they're about to pull the wing. Yep, they sure are. They're replacing wings here, so he had himself a front wing issue. As Man's Not Bob is not too far away from Ralphie and Chunky, who are closing that gap down fast for 4th place. Neil is sitting just a few seconds off. Not even seconds right now. Neil, L. Stewart, and J.R. Elliott are tight, close. And we have, looks like Chunky off in the gravel pit there. But no serious damage I see on that McLaren except for dirty tires. Hopefully he can get back on track and keep it going. Sitting in 11th right now, lagging just a smidge, not too much lag, but he is bopping around the track some. I'm going to let him know. He's the only one I see on track so far lagging. But, whoa, Gavin goes wide and slaps the wall. Seems to be okay, though. Definitely hit that wall pretty hard there as we got to see that impact. Oh, Brian trying to go outside of Mufasa as Mufasa has a wiggle on track there, but Mufasa gains his composure and gets it going back in a straight line without end up taking himself out. It looks like everybody's popping just a little bit of lag going on in this lobby today. Maybe it's just server connection issues overall. The LLCC trying to catch up to Costa Star, who's moved us up into 6th. We have another caution in Sector 2, and that's Gavin again, who looks like he hit the wall and completely lost the front nose wing now. So he definitely needs to be careful in that AMG car to get back to the pits here, folks. Man's Not Bob doing a good job running down Ralphie, coming in this tight corner here into the last straight, going towards the finish line. They are neck and neck, and Neil, Stewart, and Elliott, 1, 2, 3, are just piled up, battling hard, all on the same tires. It looks like J.R. Elliott's just a little bit faster than L. Stewart, but not by much. And Neil is right there on the backside of him, hopefully gaining a little bit of fuel consumption saving because of the tow from the drag, but we'll see, who knows. Caution in Sector 1 back here. That is a McLaren spun. That is Chunky, who seems to be unable to regain his composure. 4 text messages. But don't worry about those text messages. I got a stream to do right now. Anyway, Chunky is back on track again, and he is holding it down. He's having himself a rough start, but hopefully in this little sprint race he can get it together and handle business and come home with a top 10 at least. On lap 6 as the leaders start lap 6. We are halfway into this sprint race. L. Stewart doing everything he can to catch J.R. Elliott, but can't seem to do it right now. And Neil's still holding down 3rd, no problem. Ralphie in 4th with Man's Not Bob right on his tail. Definitely using all the draft you can and engaging that ERS, trying for an inside move. Can't do it. Maybe a dummy set up. No setup. Still moving on the inside here. Everybody seems to be doing smooth. Caution in Sector 2 once again. Everything seems to be clear. Costa Sar, smooth, steady. Oh, we got LLCC hitting the wall. And Mufasa moving through. Brian still trying to come. Metal Mike with the 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings crossing lines. Same thing with Shade, it looks like. Jake in 11th back here. Let's see how far back he is. He is 9 seconds off of Lange right now. Big gaps everywhere except for Costa Star, Man's Not Bob, and the leaders. Man's Not Bob does take the pass over Costa Star. What does Costa Star got? He's been saving that energy as Bob's had to use it, and they do late break into that. Bob keeps it. Ralphie is back in the back now. Man's Not Bob made the pass cleanly and is rocketing away right now. Lange with a 3-second time penalty. Multiple people are going to pick him up. I said that's going to be one of the big things today, is those penalties. And these track limits here are so tight and dangerous. J.R. Elliott still running away, 0.876 away from L. Stewart. And Neil is right on the back bumper as well. Smelling that draft, getting all the fumes, is watching the DRS engage and that wing open up. A little bit of lag, but nothing bad here today. Man's Not Bob still sitting in front of Ralphie. Costa Star trying the best he can to catch up to Ralphie. Not far off, but we hit lap 7 as the leaders are on lap 8 now. Starting lap 8. Mufasa can see the battle in front of him, hoping that gives him a chance to catch up. LLCC still a little too far back out of attacking range, with Brian right on his back bumper as well. Only just a smidge back, one second back off of LLCC. Lange a little bit further back at 8 seconds, and Jake 5 seconds back off of Lange. Metal Mike 10 seconds back off of Jake, but Gavin only 0.6 away from Metal Mike, so this could be a good little battle here in a second. As we go back up here, and Ralphie and Mufasa are closer than they were before by a lot. Mufasa is encroaching. Chunky with a time penalty warning again. And Gavin makes the move on Metal Mike. I said that was coming. I knew it would. Gavin keeps that inside move close to that wall there, but he had it. Held on to it well. DMC closing that gap down as well. Chunky's a little bit further back off, and Shade has been lapped by the leaders while he was in the pits, though, I believe. As Ralphie makes a good move on Kosasar. Saw Kosasar make a little slip, and Ralphie took the move and got on that accelerator and made it work, as Mufasa is right here with him as well, looking for the same move on the inside of Kosasar as they don't bump, but whoa, everybody gives himself space. Nice clean racing. It was dangerous for a moment, but it did work out. Kosasar right here on the backside of Ralphie again, as Man's Not Bob has clearly secured himself into 4th place now, 4 seconds away. Caution in Sector 2. That looks like one of these guys up here either had a little mishap or something, but everything seems to be okay. Ralphie's still holding the lead over Kosasar, but Mufasa's still trying to catch up as well. Some wiggles going on, but he hangs on to it. I know those tires are definitely warm. Oh, bumps into the final corner. A little bit of ghosting, a little bit of sand trap too. Mufasa makes the move over Ralphie as Ralphie makes that mistake and gets a little bit of a shove there. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm not sure if that was lag or what, but that scared me pretty good. Sorry about the jump scare. Mufasa and Kosasar here, tight racing down the front stretch. Lag maybe on my end. No, it looks like Mufasa lost a corner wing there. Definitely loses grip and can't hang on to it. Hopefully doesn't pick up a penalty for it. 10 laps left. LLCC with a penalty as well. Kosasar definitely going to advantage from this and run away a little bit, as Ralphie's unsure what's going on and not knowing why Mufasa's slowing down or driving so harsh right now. But Mufasa's definitely going to have to hit the pits. He's not going to be able to make these left-handers like he wants to. But Kosasar slipping as well. Ralphie falls back a little. LLCC, Brian, and Lange all have penalties. Up front, JR Elliott still holding on to 1st place, but L. Stewart getting close. Chunky with another penalty, up to 6 seconds right now. Only person with 2. Mufasa still holding on. Still making his car decently fast. Chooses once again to skip the pits, heading towards lap number 11. As L. Stewart, JR Elliott, and Neil are still holding down 1, 2, 3, heading towards lap 12. Lap 11 is halfway done for them as they're heading towards Chunky now. And I don't think they're going to lap him by any means, but they are closing the gap down quickly. JR Elliott still holding on to 1st place as he did this whole race so far. L. Stewart in 2nd handily, but Neil is trying to close the gap down as much as he can. Man's Not Bob in 4th, securely, safely there. Kosasar not in contention by Mufasa now, and Ralphie definitely not pushing that hard either to catch him. LLCC just a ways back off of Ralphie, but still too far away to do any damage. But Brian is right here on the backside now. 310 and 87. No, I'm just calling Brian because I'm not playing all that jazz. Lange 200, too far away, 8 seconds back off of Brian. But LLCC making it hard to pass. Caution in Sector 2. That is Chunky with another spin, but he hangs on to it, maybe just enough to get back and finish lap 12. As JR Elliott, Neil, and L. Stewart do. Oh, L. Stewart is back to 3rd place now. Neil does move up to 2nd. Last lap switching as Alpine takes 2 and L. Stewart takes 3 with a, whoa, he is losing it. Man's Not Bob is not, you got dirty tires, just slow down. Man's Not Bob still a little further away than you want him to be, you're okay. You're not in contention. I understand the frustration. As these guys are heading down to one of the last straights. Mufasa cannot catch Costa Star. Costa Star cannot catch Bob. L. Stewart is not going to get caught by Bob neither. Ralphie's not catching him. LLCC's not catching him. Brian's not catching LLCC either. As J.R. Elliott takes the win here in our first sprint of the season. Doesn't look like we're going to have any passes. Whoop. No passes. AFK Mufasa in 6th. Ralphie in 7th. LLCC in 8th. Brian in 9th. Jake in 10th. Lange in 11th. Gavin in 12th. Whenever he gets there in a second. He will make it here in just a moment, folks. Heading that last corner. Closely contested by Metal Mike as they hit that last corner there, but he does hold on to it. Lange and Gavin. Oh, they do a switcheroonie, and DMC does take 12th place away from Gavin and Metal Mike, moving them down to 13th and 14th respectively. And Chunky is going to cross that line in 14th, making Shade 15th. Oh, excuse me. I was wrong. Chunky in 15th, Shade in 16th. Still. What an amazing sprint. What a good first sprint we had there. No serious accidents. Nobody taken out. Great racing, guys. Great job doing everything you could to hold on. And good racing. Indeed. It was a lot of fun to watch. What a great first sprint there. Sorry about it. We were all conversing here, telling people that the lag did exist and to watch out for that, because that does make things more dangerous as we head into our main event race here, which is going to be much longer than that sprint. So hang on tight, and we will be right back for that. I'm not going anywhere. A couple people have left, apparently. I think everybody's leaving. Indeed. Hello, Steve-O. We leave the session and then rejoin the session here in a moment. How are you doing, Steve-O? Mind you, I have not done any of this.
This is where you choose your favorite F1 constructor.
No, I don't want to choose. Don't make me choose.
And it's Red Bull.
I don't have a favorite. We're gonna be real.
Yeah, radio tech.
Bad guy. I'll never drive it. I don't play this game.
This is the Fan Zone widget and will be your entry point to all things Fan Zone within F1 World. It'll let you know how many...
Oh, goodness. Okay. Now that's all done. Sorry about that. It just shows you how much I actually play this game. 0. Waiting for thee. Waiting, waiting for the people. There we go. Thank you. We're back. And spectate. Yes, that's what we do. 36 laps of spectation. I'm ready. I hope you are too. We are waiting once again. Waiting for everyone to get here. In just 1 minute, we'll be ready. It's going to be wonderful once we get there to the race in a moment. I hope you're ready. I am. Shoo! Time to go. Let's do it. Thanks for hanging out. We got 3 watching. We'll be right back. We are here. Everybody's getting set. About to get this underway. We are about to get underway here at the Red Bull Ring. It has been just a few minutes since we had action, but we will be back here to it in a second. I was minding my own business here for a moment and hanging out waiting for it. Getting their setups ready to go. Then we will be kicking it off here in a minute. Everybody's getting their setups in. It's about to be time. I'm ready. All this waiting has made me impatient. Here we go. It's time. It's finally time. We're underway, folks. And they're off. What tire are we on? What's the telemetry? What's the lap data? Give me that full track map. J.R. Elliott does take off right now on the lead. Neal is in second. L. Stewart in third. Ooh, we got some crazy lag jumping right now. Looks like Neal is jumping around track. Not sure if it was everybody doing it or just Neal, but seems to have panned out a little bit. L. Stewart does falls back to third. Already have a penalty. Man's Not Bob up to fourth place, battling with Mufasa. Kostasar in sixth. In the backpack here, we got madness going on. Brian is following. Whoa! Metal Mike with a spin. DMC bumping. And Brian bumping. I don't know if that's lag involved or what there. Everything's good, it seems. DMC still fine. Nobody seems to have too much damage or anything too crazy. Chunky with a move up to 10th place. Let's see what we've got going on so far. So from the start, J.R. Elliott did not move up at all. He stayed where he started. Neal stayed where he started. L. Stewart, Man's Not Bob, and Mufasa moved up one. Jake moved up 4 spots. Kostasar down 2. LLCC remains in 8th place, same place he started from. Ralphie's down 2 from his start. Chunky up 5 from his start. Good move from Chunky in the beginning there. Gavin up 2. Lange down 1. Shade up 3 from the start. DMC down 2. Brian down 6. And Metal Mike down 2. Metal Mike holding off the backside here. He'll hopefully catch up as the race goes on. No safety cars, no penalties, nothing. Well, excuse me, a couple penalties for a couple people already. Lange and LLCC both of the 3 second to start off with. Real close, tight racing so far. J.R. Elliott, Neal, and L. Stewart, all the front 3 running away with Mufasa and Man's Not Bob bringing up 4th and 5th. Jake doing all he can right now to catch up to Man's Not Bob, but that's just not enough as they head down this final straight, heading towards turn 1. Whoa, a little slide from Chunky, but he hangs on to it as he does lose the position to Gavin. Shade is still back here just a little ways from Chunky. DMC a little too far. Brian. DMC. Woo! Lange and DMC didn't make the move on Brian and put him back to 15th. Brian is falling off the backside of Lange right now in DMC. DMC is running way cleaner than he did here in the beginning and is slowly but surely catching up to Shade. Chunky still up 4 spots from his starting spot. Gavin is now up 3. They did switch spots after Chunky's little wiggle there. LLCC has remained in the same place. Says something about 1, but he got it back, I guess. Ralphie's down 1. Up front, L. Stewart has taken the lead from J.R. Elliott. A slight bump pass. Whoa, a little bit of lag jump there as J.R. Elliott jumps to the inside of the track. Neil still in 3rd, but Mufasa is starting to make it a little worrisome. Let's see what tires people are on. Our top 4 are all on mediums, but Man's Not Bob on the hards. Jake also on the mediums, then hards all behind him. Gavin on the mediums, Shade on the hards, DMC on the mediums, Lange on the hards, Brian mediums, and Metal Mike mediums. Metal Mike has caught back up to the backside of Brian. I told you he was not out of this race, and he was not out of contention. L. Stewart still holding on to first place right now. Does make a good run away from J.R. Elliott, but we'll see how that plays out as the race goes on. I see Mufasa trying to make a move on Neil. Can't get it done, but Neil does go wide there. That could be a penalty for him into that first turn. And all this battling has let Man's Not Bob catch up. Caution in Sector 1 back here. We've got a McLaren spun sideways. That is Chunky. Spun around, spun sideways, and wrecked. Hopefully not too much damage or anything, but it's looking like he hit the wall at least a little bit. Hopefully he can get himself back together again and back into the race as that caution clears up and everybody's good to go back racing. J.R. Elliott back into the lead over L. Stewart as I missed what happened. Sorry about it, watching Chunky back there, seeing what happened to him. Waiting for Mufasa to make a move on Neil, but he has fell back a little bit further away as that battling calmed down, but has let Bob catch up on the backside of him as we're going to have a battle here, and Jake is also knocking on the door. Everyone is lined up 1st through 7th, even 8th almost. 1st through 8th is a close race. 9th not too far off. This is a good race we're having here, folks. Lap 6 of 36. It's going by quicker than you'd want it to. A race like this is not every day, as we got a couple wiggles after turn 1 here, but seems like everybody held it together. Chunky is 8 seconds back off of Metal Mike. Like I said, long race. Hopefully he can catch back up. People are going to be pitting here and changing things up, and Chunky's on those hards that can last longer than the mediums. They don't wear the same, so could be a good advantage for him later on down the line. As we got, looks like Gavin and Costa Star battling a little bit with LLCC as well. And Shade moving into play here. So Gavin, LLCC, and Shade moving around. And we got people sliding sideways. Couple cars sideways, couple cars in the grass. They held it together. Shade did fall back a few positions and Lange moved up. LLCC held on and DMC is now up to 9th place. Costa Star up to 8th and Ralphie in 7th. 7th is falling back off of Jake a little bit, so Ralphie's falling back a little ways. Jake with a slide, but hangs on to it. So Jake is 0.8 back off of Man's Not Bob, and Man's Not Bob is right on the backside of Mufasa, who's on the backside of Neil's on the backside of Elliott, who just passed Stewart. So we have a battle up here in the beginning of the pack, folks. Oh no, we have another car spun back here. It is a McLaren again. That is Chunky in turn 1. Having a hard time in turn 1 today. It is a tight technical track, and those curves will bite you faster than you are ready and spit you right out. Looks like Costa Star is ghosted, having some kind of an issue or something. Or he disconnected. I'm not sure what this means. Ralphie still just a little bit too far off of Jake. But Jake cannot close the gap down on Man's Not Bob. And Neil takes third back away from AFK Mufasa, and L. Stewart and JR Elliott switch back again too. That is Chunky wrecked again back here in Sector 2. He hangs on to it. Not hangs on, but gets her back going again. Maybe he's going to hit the pits this lap, not sure. Sorry, you're having a rough day there, Chunky. Nobody ever likes to see it. L. Stewart is now falling back off of JR Elliott a little bit. Watch the battle from Neil's seat. Man, now Bob has to battle and defend the outside from Mufasa. And Jake is also making this battle tight and hot. Another caution in Sector 3, that is Chunky. But he makes it into the pits, it looks like. And he is DNF'd. We cannot get to Chunky. He is DNF'd. Sad day. I'm sorry to see it. Our first DNF of the day is Chunky. As we are heading towards Sector 3, we do have caution still, which could induce a safety car, but we hope not. We hope it's just not going to do it and everything's going to be okay. Mufasa and Man's Not Bob making battling, and Mufasa loses a spot to Man's Not Bob. Man's Not Bob is battling with Neil. Oh my goodness gracious. Chunky's ghost car is not ghosted at all. That was horrifying. That is an interesting situation we saw there, folks, but Neil has moved up to second, and L. Stewart has moved back to third after that confusing little bit up there, and J.R. Elliott is running away once again in first place. Neil is doing what he can to catch him, and L. Stewart wishes he could catch back up to second after making a mistake, putting him in striking distance to Bob, with Jake still on the backside, not far off. Mufasa has fell back to Jake, so Jake moved up to fifth place. Ralphie in seventh, all kind of in no man's land. Same with DMC in no man's land back here, except for LLCC, who's actually not too far off. So to get to seventh place, eighth place has to do some serious work, but to get to eighth, ninth is right there. Gavin moves up to 13th, moves back to 14th, dives into the pits, and Brian moves up to 14th. J.R. Elliott still holding on to first, Neil in second. Man's Not Bob moves to third place, Jake to fourth. It looks like we're having an issue up front. L. Stewart, we hit the pits and swapped to the hard, so no issue, but definitely a strategy at play. Maybe an issue, maybe he picked up damage and needed to fix it, but we're not sure about that. Jake in fourth now, Mufasa in fifth, Ralphie in sixth, as J.R. Elliott is holding on to a substantial lead. Man's Not Bob is pressuring Neil, with Jake a little too far off to battle with them, but Mufasa right there with Jake. Riding along with Gavin right now. He's about to be pressured by one of our race leaders, who hit the pits a little bit early at lap 11, but who knows, maybe it was very strategic and definitely what he needed to do. As we see a little bit of movement, AFK Mufasa and Jake both go into the pits here. Same thing with Brian. So Jake and Mufasa both in the pits. Neil falls back to third, as Man's Not Bob does finally take second away from Neil. J.R. Elliott still holding on to first place, has a 2-second gap over the guys behind him, who are battling, who are about to make that gap bigger if they continue to do it. As Ralphie is also going to be able to squeeze that gap down because of the battling in front of him slows the guys up. But DMC will have to do everything he can to catch up. He'll close the gap a little bit, but not much, because the guy in front of him is still running real fast. LLCC still pressuring, trying to do what he can to catch up to DMC. But J.R. Elliott into the pits here as Neil goes around for another lap. Man's Not Bob does as well. Ralphie keeps going, DMC keeps going, LLCC keeps going, Shade keeps going, Lange, Stewart, Costa Star as Gavin goes in. And we see our third race leader of the day, Neil, take a lap in first place, at least one. Let's see how long it takes him to go in the pits. As Man's Not Bob's also trying to lead a lap, getting that inside and holding it down. He gets the move done. Can he continue to keep it down the straight here into this next corner? If he can defend that inside, nobody will be able to take anything from him. Man's Not Bob does take the lead, and he's running away. Those hards are working out for him, and he definitely is using them to his advantage. Ralphie on him and LLCC as well, who are in third and fourth respectively, and have moved up to the field really well. Man's Not Bob going to run down through here, staying on those hards. We'll see what lap he goes in, as Neil is definitely feeling the pain and feeling the struggle with 11 lap old mediums, which definitely couldn't be feeling as good as those hards right now. Ralphie still holds on to third, DMC back into fourth, Lange up to fifth, LLCC pits, Shade pits, J.R. Elliott is moved himself back into seventh place, Jake in eighth, and Mufasa in ninth. So we got all the guys in the backside here pitting except for Gavin, Brian, and Metal Mike, who already have. Jake and Mufasa back in 8th and 9th, not far back away from J.R. Elliott. Just a smidge back. Caught back up to L. Stewart here. So our race leaders are back here 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. So they've already taken one pit. They're ahead of the game, just a smidge, all of them on hards. I wonder if they'll do one more pit stop during this race, but we'll see. DMC, Ralphie, Neil, and Bob, all four have not pit yet. And Lange, excuse me, all five have not pit yet. Neil with a penalty, not going to help his case in the end of it all for a race win. Or even a podium for that matter, with the skill and the poise these guys are showing today. It's turning out to be a good race. That turn one braking zone gets shorter and shorter as they keep trying to drag those tires out for different laps. J.R. Elliott with the 107.7 sets the fastest lap of the day. He is on a tear, trying to catch back up and get his way back up to first place, knowing that Man's Not Bob and Neil will be pitting soon, along with Lange, Ralphie, Neil. DMC does finally pit and moves himself back to 10th place, but he's going to have 11th place, excuse me. Let's see how far that keeps going. Looking like 11th where he's going to settle right now. Bob and Neil still holding on to 1 and 2. Ralphie in third and Lange in fourth. LLCC with a 3-second time penalty. Lots of penalties today. Those track limits are rough business here. Bob still pushing good, not giving in to anything. He looks like he may be going to the pits. He sure is. Bob heads in on those 13 lap old hards. Neil heads in with those 13 lap old mediums. Ralphie keeps going. Ralphie said, I'd like to be one to lead a lap for once. J.R. Elliott moving back up through the field fast and nicely. J.R. Elliott moved himself into second. L. Stewart sitting in third. Mufasa in fourth. Jake in fifth. Man's Not Bob in sixth. A little further back than he'd want to be. Late pit didn't help him, it seems. Same thing with Neil. I wonder what Ralphie's going to do here in the end. I think he's going to pit here lap 14. He's pushed it pretty far and long. Those tires are worn out. You can see the slides as he hits the turns. But not a lot of heat in those tires. Neil back in 7th place behind Man's Not Bob, hoping to catch back up. And Shade 2 seconds back off of Neil. LLCC a second off of shade, but DMC is making it known he is behind LLCC right now. Move back up here to Jake and Mufasa, who are just a ways back off of L. Stewart. And Ralphie making those hards last, but he's losing time quick. Sorry about that, needed some water. J.R. Elliott and L. Stewart both move back up to 1 and 2, pushing Ralphie back to third. You know he's got to think about pitting now, as Mufasa and Jake are just about to be knocking on his door as well. He's definitely losing too much time at this rate to continue it and not be degenerative gains. Man's Not Bob in 6th place is further back from Jake and Mufasa, but I'm sure he'd like to be with Neil, actually a good ways back off of Bob as well on those hards. And Ralphie does go in. He realized it was time. J.R. Elliott, 0.7 gap over L. Stewart, not much. Just a good battle up here in the lead pack as Mufasa and Jake both battle as Man's Not Bob 4 seconds off of Jake and Mufasa. And Jake and Mufasa about 3 seconds off of L. Stewart and J.R. Elliott. So the packs have found themselves a way to build up. We've got a good little battle right here in the middle. Metal Mike. No, excuse me, LLCC, DMC, and Shade, all three of them battling pretty good as we watch them bunch up through the corners. And then back here in the rear of the race, we got Metal Mike, Ralphie, Lange, Brian, and Gavin and Costa Star. Ralphie is making a move and tearing back through the field on a fresh pair of softs. You know he doesn't have the heat in the tires yet, but oh, excuse me, yes he does. The J.R. Elliott still holding on to first place. Mufasa and Jake right there neck and neck as well, but they can see the guys in front of them now at 3 seconds away. That gap is coming down too. Man's Not Bob 4.2 back off of Jake and Mufasa. Not that good of a come down off the time yet. Not shaving that time as fast as he'd like as Jake makes the move on Mufasa into this turn. We saw Mufasa, or actually Bob, make that move on Neil just a while ago. Jake pulling one from the hat of Bob there, as Neil is still out of striking range of Bob, and Bob nowhere near close enough to do anything to the guys in front of him or even see him truly as they come around these S's heading towards the last 2 sharp turns. Shade can see DMC and knows he could just get a little bit more put together, he'd catch him. LLCC off in the gravel just a little bit there. And Ralphie catching back up in 10th place. Lange has himself another penalty. Let's see what the penalties are building up here today, folks. So we've got Gavin with 6 seconds, Brian with 6, Lange with 12, Metal Mike with 3, LLCC with 9, Shade with 3, Neil with 3, and Jake with 3. Jake does make the move over Mufasa and keeps it, but it's all that wiggle there. That's not helping their case to Bob behind him, who's catching them slowly as they fall away further from L. Stewart and J.R. Elliott. J.R. Elliott still holding on to his first place, right where he'd like to be right now. Mufasa knows all he's got to do is keep that time gap to 3 seconds at least, and he'll have himself a 3rd place podium finish today. Jake's got to be kicking himself knowing he picked up that penalty when he did a clean race so far. All the way to lap 20, folks. We are hitting lap 21. No, we're not. the leaders hit lap 20, so we are on lap 20. Shade has run away a little bit from LLCC. Ralphie is slowly catching LLCC now. We're going to go back to those tires and see what they're on. El Stewart now with 10-lap-old hards. I'm sure they're starting to get a little bit worn. If you remember, the other guys did also pit around lap 12, 13 on their hards, so it's not like they can last 2 years. They don't last that long. They do have a lifespan. J.R. Elliott all the way up in the first place with fresher tires than a lot of the guys behind him. I mean, Man's Not Bob, Neil, and DMC have pretty new tires, and so does Ralphie, but everybody else, they've got 9 laps or so on their tires. Shade and LLCC was 7, but everybody else is pushing a bunch more laps than our leader. So our leader, he's got something going on, and it's working out for him, and we'll see how it plays off at lap 21. It's underway. No safety cars today, folks, and I'm loving to see it so far. Truly been a great race. All the action, no stoppage is nice. No stoppage is what you like to see. Brian with another time penalty. That's, once again, not going to help his case today whatsoever. As Mufasa makes the pass over Jake once again. We didn't get to see the pass, but we see that he is in front of him. And Man's Not Bob has closed that gap down to 2 seconds. It was 4.2 a while ago, but now it's only 1.8. So Jake is starting to struggle with those 10-lap-old hards, starting to feel the wear, knowing that it's coming time, you know, in the next 2 or 3 laps to pit again. We saw Ralphie take those hards to lap 15 or so, but not good enough. If you want to continue it on to the end of the race, you definitely need to pit again. Doing 10 laps is probably optimal. As we're watching J.R. Elliott have 10-lap-old hards right now, and El Stewart behind him only struggling a little bit. Mufasa saw the light of day, saw El Stewart up there in front of him for a second, but Man's Not Bob also has a little bit of hope right there in front of him in the color and shape of a Ferrari. But Bob also knows that if he keeps that gap to under 3 seconds, he'll have himself a 4th place regardless. Neil sitting in 6th place, starting to pick it back up and get going. He was one of our race leaders in the beginning, held on to 3rd place till he had a few little wiggles, and I think fell back to Bob and in the start there, but so far a good race from him. DMC just a little bit too far back off it of anyone to do anything, as he sits kind of all alone right now. And LLCC with another penalty. That is just rough stuff. It's stacking up hardcore. Exponential growth is real. Ralphie is closing down on Shade with those much newer tires than everybody else on the field, because the late pit that he took. Smart moves could pay off for him. J.R. Elliott still doing a masterclass of a race, holding on to 1st place. El Stewart doing everything he can to catch him. 13-lap-old hards versus 11-lap-old hards. The advantage is not in your favor, Mr. Bond. Mufasa still a little too far off of Jake, saying, "I am your father," as Jake has a wiggle on screen. But it looks like he's just diving in the pits with the 12-lap-old hards. Definitely going to take his mediums here, I bet. Bob also dives in those pits. Who else is going in this lap? Doesn't look like anybody, but it looks like Ralphie is taking it, making a move on Shade, as Shade does go in. Excuse me when I said no one. Ralphie's moved his way back up to 8th place, 7th place, 6th place. Waiting for the guys to pop out the pits, but it's not going to happen on him. Ralphie's going to have it here for a little bit more. DMC Holding on to 5th now, Neil in 4th, Mufasa in 3rd. As we're watching Gavin and Metal Mike battle, Gavin goes for the pass, makes the pass happen, does a good job to initiate that before the curve, but breaks a little bit late and goes real wide, giving Metal Mike the ability to run back up the inside, losing all the ground he just gained. So Gavin made a late breaking desperate dive and a lot of power pass, but didn't get the brakes on in time to hold it and keep the pass. As Shade and Brian with brand new tires, can Brian make these softs last 11 laps? I'm not sure. But Kozasar sitting in 15th right now, thinks about pitting soon, I'm sure about that. J.R. Elliott, 13 lap old hard, still holding on to first place. 0.6 gap over L. Stewart. Neil back 6 seconds away from his guys in 1st and 2nd. But he knows they're up there running it, doing the best they can. DMC in 4th place, 11 lap old hards. Ralphie, the latest guy on the track to pit, 8 lap old hards, is in 5th place. So his strategy is paying off for them so far. Jake and Mufasa both come out on mediums in 6th and 7th. Watch for these two near the end of the race. They're going to be moving back up through the pack. But at the end, their tires will be worse off than the guys pitting in just a few laps. Man's Not Bob, 1 lap old hard, has already taken the pit. Same thing with Jake, and Mufasa is on the mediums, but he is a bit further off of Jake than he'd like to be, as Jake is closing in on Ralphie fast on those really new mediums. New mediums versus a bit worn hards is definitely going to feel way better for you, and you're going to be able to do a lot more than you would on the ladder. DMC still way too far of striking distance for Ralphie, so DMC holding on to 4th nicely right now. Same thing with Neil, he is just 5 seconds, almost 6 seconds back off of L. Stewart. Lands with a 10-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Lands with probably the most penalties I've ever seen of anyone so far. At 22 seconds, Lange has. That is rough stuff for one day of driving. Knowing this track, that is almost a whole lap. As we're watching L. Stewart right now trying to catch up to J.R. Elliott the best he can. They're both going in the pits. Neil, he's not going to the pits. He's going to keep it on the track and keep going. DMC, what's he going to do here? Keep it on the track. He's not going in either. Jake, something happened to Mufasa. Mufasa falls back to 7th place. Actually, excuse me. Yeah, actually, definitely something happened because Jake moves up to 5th and Mufasa back to 7th. And Ralphie's about to get passed by Mufasa here in a moment. L. Stewart comes out the pits just behind Mufasa and in between him and Bob. Bob is just a little too far away to catch up to the guys in front of him, but over time it could pay off. He's on those hards, on those mediums. We have less than 10 laps. We have 9 laps to go, folks. Gavin moves to 9th over Metal Mike as we're watching Mufasa move and take over Ralphie there. Ralphie with that late pit isn't paying off for him here. At the end of the race, these guys around him moving much faster on newer tires. L. Stewart on those brand new mediums and Mufasa in the way. L. Stewart probably thinks L. Stewart wants to get past Mufasa, catch back up to Elliott, and run away with Elliott into the sunset. While Jake is hoping for a podium of any kind, he's driving with a 3-second penalty that's not going to help him in the end. So he is slowly but surely catching DMC. He's going to have DMC, I think, in the next lap or two. But J.R. Elliott and L. Stewart are both pushing. Man's Not Bob with a purple, fastest lap of the day. So laying that down. Gavin with another penalty. No good. These time penalties will be the roughest thing of the day. I knew it. I just absolutely had the feeling it was going to be that way. Those curbs and those time penalties, just so rough. as we are on board with Mufasa right now. L. Stewart right there catching up to Jake slowly. J.R. Elliott has moved his way back into third place, overtaking Jake and secured his way up there back on the podium again. L. Stewart doing what he can to do the same, trying to catch up to Jake. As we saw somebody dive in the pits. That would be DMC diving in, as Neil stays out for another one at least. J.R. Elliott, Jake, and L. Stewart battling this first stretch. Going into the big turn, big hairpin. And Mufasa moves up. Jake falls back to 5th as we've got bumping and battling. Mufasa in the 3rd, L. Stewart in the 4th. Man's Not Bob is still a little bit too far off, and Ralphie the same as him, a little too far off to catch up right now. But Mufasa into 3rd place, holding off L. Stewart and Jake. Jake falls back to 5th place, and Man's Not Bob is in 6th, closing that gap down slowly as well. And if we look closely, you see J.R. Elliott is closing that gap to Neil with 6.8 seconds left. And Neil should have gone in maybe that lap, but he decided not to. He may be doing softs in the end and it really pay off for him, but I'm not quite sure. L. Stewart cannot catch Mufasa right now, and Bob cannot catch Jake right now, so we're in a standstill of places. Ralphie in the pits with 13-lap-old hards. Definitely waited a good long while to do so. Wonder if he's putting softs on. Not quite sure what he did. Looks like mediums. Ralphie put the mediums on. Let's see how it goes for him. He comes out the pits right here next to Lange. Lange on 4-lap-old mediums. What can he do? Can he get past Lange quickly? DMC trying to make a move on Shade, but Shade has the inside. Shade holds the inside line. As DMC does make the move, though, nicely. Shade did give him the pass. That was good. Clean racing there. Decided he was definitely slower and let the faster guy through. Man's Not Bob still holding on to 6th place right here behind Jake. L. Stewart's trying to close that gap down to Mufasa. And he's about to get him. It looks like as J.R. Elliott's still in 2nd place, but can see Neil now. And Neil knows that he's in for danger. As J.R. Elliott can and will catch you like a shark. He will zoom up on you and get you. Gavin with a 107.3 fastest lap of the day. Good job, Gavin. Neil's still in 1st. What's he going to do this lap? Is he going in or is he staying out? Is he going in or is he staying out? He's staying out. We're lap 31 of 36, folks. I don't see him pitting. I don't see him going in. I see him driving him to their dunzo. Caution in sector 2. That would be LLCC is what it looks like. Definitely had a spill or a thrill. One way or the other, he lost something. And luckily he got it back on track and going straight. They let Neil through, the lap car does. It's very good of them, very smart of them. J.R. Elliott, same, just doing what he can right now to catch up to Neil, and Neil is still just driving a heck of a race on those 17-lap-old hards. L. Stewart too far away to make any moves happen. Mufasa too far away. Bob too far away. Jake too far away. DMC too far away. Everybody's too far from everybody. as we're watching J.R. Elliott slowly catch Neal. We're down to 3 laps left, folks. What's going to happen? As we don't have any battles really on track right now. Everybody's slotted themselves in and found a good groove. Found a racing buddy or something and locked in with it. Not sure what's all going on, but they're doing a great job to do it. Today is the day as J.R. Elliott does make the pass. We got to see it. I didn't, but you did. I was looking away for a moment. Sorry about it. As Neal falls back to second, and L. Stewart is up into third right now. Mufasa is knocking on the back door of L. Stewart too. And Bob is not far. Jake did slide, and it looks like he gained himself a good little gap to the guys in front, but a 6th place finish is not bad for Jake if he can keep it away from DMC. Shade, a little too far back away from DMC. Everybody else is a little far away from everybody. LLCC is not far from Gavin. But Neal ran out of tire, it looks like, and is now struggling to keep it on the track and be fast. As L. Stewart is trying to get past him, is about to do so, takes the inside line into the hairpin corner. What does Neal do? He gives it up and says, hey, take it and run, please run with it. And Mufasa not far off of Neal. Mufasa can pick himself a podium up, but I don't think either one of those guys will. I think it'll be Man's Not Bob. I think it'll be Bob if it stays the way it is. Bob's going to be on the podium. So let's just see what happens. As our battle for first is not changing or heating up whatsoever. Seems pretty stale and stagnant and like it's going to be the way it is. Hitting lap 35. We got 2 laps left, folks. 2 more laps. What can you do? It's the last ditch effort on this long race. Make a move or don't. They're not looking like they got any moves to make. Looking like it's a bit locked down. As they're heading down this straight, hitting the sharp right-hander. What can L. Stewart do? Can he catch him? Can he make a pass? Can he do something bold and make it work? So far, J.R. Elliott's going to hold on to this lead is what it looks like and keep it all the way home. As Bob has moved his way into 3rd place as well. Neal back and forth now. Mufasa up to 5th. Jake in 6th. DMC in 7th. 8.2 back off of Jake. Shade in 8th place. 3 seconds back off of DMC. Ralphie in 9th. Lange in 10th. Gavin in 11th. LLCC in 12th. Metal Mike in 13th. Coastal Star in 14th. Brian in 15th. Last lap, folks. We are going to ride along with J.R. Elliott and L. Stewart. We're going to ride along with L. Stewart, who is going to do his best to battle and catch J.R. Elliott. Because back here, Mufasa and Neal are battling as well. But it looks like DMC is the only one with no penalty. Because Bob finally picked one up, and Bob is in 3rd place. L. Stewart is doing what he can to catch up to J.R. Elliott this last lap. Just a few corners left. Heading to the end of Red Bull Ring. It looks like J.R. Elliott's going to have this one. Excuse me. J.R. Elliott's definitely keeping it. And J.R. Elliott keeps it home for the second race of the season. L. Stewart's in 2nd. Man's Not Bob in 3rd. AFK Mufasa in 4th. Neal in 5th. Jake in 6th. DMC in 7th. Shade in 8th. Ralphie in 9th. Lange in 10th. Gavin in 11th. Lange in 11th. Gavin in 10th. LLCC in 11th. Lange in 12th. Metal Mike in 13th. What a race. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for hanging out with me. What a wonderful time I had. I hope you had a good one too. I enjoyed every bit of that. That was the Red Bull Ring. That was race 2 of this season. We will be back here next Monday. I hope for you to join me. I am Smack Attack Mac. This has been Wolff-gang Tier F1 on the ERL YouTube channel. And I am glad you joined us. Here's your final standings. J.R. Elliott in first. Second, L. Stewart. Third, Men's Not Bob. Fourth, AFK Mufasa. Fifth, Neil. Sixth, Jake. Seventh, DMC. Eighth, Shade. Ninth, Ralphie. 10th, Gavin. 11th, Metal Mike. 12th, LLCC. 13th, Lange. 14th, Costa Star. 15th, Brian. And 16th, Chunky. Thank you for hanging out with me. I am Smack Attack Mac. This is ERL F1. We will be here most Mondays, and we stream Gran Turismo content on Saturdays and Sundays, and then through the week as well. Y'all have a good one. Thank you very much. We are out of here. See you next time.